Hey everyone, this is my first time ever doing anything like this, so do not judge if I do it weird. But I got a question on my TikTok about making a video on how I modify my students' work. So to give you a little bit of back history on me, my name is Mackenzie Messer. I have a social media called the Inclusive Education Specialist on Instagram and on TikTok. I show funny things, but I also show how I do 21st century inclusion for kids that have disabilities inside the general education classroom and how it can work and how it can be great. And I showed the other day about one of the accommodated assessments that I had made. I also make modified assessments as well. And someone commented and asked how I do it, and they want to know. So this is something that I have figured out for myself. I'm not claiming any of this as like fact or this is what you have to do. You of course have to follow your school and your district guidelines when it comes to accommodating and modifying, but hopefully this helps give you some sort of an idea of where to start if you would like to. So what I'm going to use is I have my 5th grade level assessment here in front of me. I also have the standards that go with that assessment. And then I have Google Docs open. And I also have ChatGPT open. And I know that we are not a fan of ChatGPT, and I am also not a fan of ChatGPT because it is very harmful for the earth. It is very harmful for minorities because it perpetuates harmful stereotypes and things like that. And I make sure that the human interaction I have with ChatGPT eliminates those things. I mean, I can't really do anything about the climate stuff because it's the data centers and I don't have any control over that. But I've done enough work on myself as a white woman. I am Hawaiian, but I'm also white. And so I've done enough work to understand and stop that from happening with ChatGPT. On the other side of that argument, I am in special education and I am in education where I am overworked and underpaid. And so if I can find something that's going to make my life easier because I have 2 small boys at home, so I can spend more time with the kids because I want to spend time with my kids, I am going to use that tool that is going to make my life easier. I am not going to follow it blindly, and I'm going to use it only when I need to, but that's just my philosophy, and you're allowed to hate me about that, but that's just where I'm at today. Okay, so those are the things that I have opened, right? So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to go to my assessment, which is here. And I like to make my modified and accommodated assessments as close to the grade level assessment as humanly possible. So I am going to start by screenshotting the top part right here, right? So that way it looks the same. So I do a screenshot and then I am going to paste it into upload from computer. Sorry, my computer's slow. There. So at least the beginning looks the same, right? So then now I'm going to come back to my assessment. I am going to copy my entire assessment. So I'm going to highlight it. This is a PDF. I don't want the picture because that's not going to work. So I'm going to copy the words, including the title. I'm going to come to ChatGPT, and my prompt that I'm going to use for ChatGPT is modify this, what's the word I'm using? Article to a, now my students that are in 5th grade, they're reading at a 3rd grade comprehension reading level. So modify this to a 3rd grade comprehension level. I'm going to do my little dots. I'm going to paste. I'm going to make sure I have, need more of this story? Yes, there's more
of the story. I'm going to highlight that. Copy. Paste. Make sure that's it. Is that it? Yes, that's it. Okay.
And so now ChatGPT is going to make my life easier because it's going to give me a version of the same exact story with the same exact concepts, but it is going to be at my students' reading level. I already have the title in my screenshot that I did, so I am just going to copy and paste the story into my Google Doc. I prefer Google Doc because I can easily share it with my team. We all use Google, so I can link it into their plans. I also love Google Doc because my students can use the option. I'm gonna modify this a little bit like that. Tick those out. I don't know if you guys know about this or not. I'm sure you do. That you can have the story read to them if you use read and write, which I can show you. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, now that I have my story in here, I'm gonna come to the standards that are being taught. And so I have the answer key with the standards right here. Now I am making a modified assessment, and this assessment goes along with the core content connector standards, which are the modified standards. My students that have an IEP, they have this written in their IEP. So I'm gonna start with this first one, this RI 4.2, and I am gonna come to my core content connector standards. I'm gonna find that standard. I don't even remember what it is. RI 5.2. So this is RL. I'm gonna find, there's RF. RI of 5.2. I need to go to 5th grade. And for RI, here we go. Okay, so this is the standard that is being assessed, and this is the core content connector standard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight this standard. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna come back to my ChatGPT, and I'm gonna say, make multiple choice questions to go along with these standards. Make it out of 3 possible answers. I'm gonna do my little thing, and I'm gonna paste the standard. Then I'm gonna come back over here because I think there's the other standard in here as well. So then I'm gonna come back to my core content connectors. I'm gonna get the other 2 standards that I need. Copy, paste into ChatGPT. Get my other standard. Here's my other informational standard, because this is all an informational thing. Now, for my students, I like to do multiple choice questions, and I like to do only 3 possible answers, because I think that understanding multiple choice is a skill for my students, even if they're not working on grade level. But I think that 4 options is too much for them. 2 is too easy. So 3, right? So ChatGPT makes me an assessment. And so then I can just copy and paste these questions in there. I do want to note that the assessment had a picture in it. So I'm also going to copy and paste that picture that it had in there. So I'm going to come back to my assessment. I want to take a screenshot of this picture, and I want to put it in to help my students, because I want it to be good for them, but I also want it to be looking as similar as humanly possible to the, oh, whoopsie. Easier, and I made this assessment in less than 10 minutes. If you liked this, let me know, and I can show you how I make accommodated assessments where it's grade level standards. I can also show you how I make modified math assessments, how I do this in class, things like that. But let me know if you liked it. Bye.